This is the Good Neighbor Podcast, the place where local businesses and neighbors come together. Here's your host, Sophia Yvette.
Welcome to the Good Neighbor Podcast. Are you in need of a DJ? Well, one may be closer than you think. Today, I have the pleasure of introducing your good neighbor, Jason Griffin, with Classic Pro DJ. Jason, how's it going today?
I'm doing excellent. Thank you so much for asking.
Yes, now we are excited to learn all about you and your business. Can you start off by telling our listeners just a little bit about your company?
Sure, we're a mobile DJ service. We do over 200 events a year. About 80% of those are weddings. And when they're not weddings, they're corporate events, school dances, class reunions, things like that. But weddings is really what our specialty is. It's myself, it's 4 other DJs. We've got 5 altogether on the team, and we pretty much cover all of the DFW area and most of the surrounding communities. We also offer photo booth services and lighting options.
Wow. Now, out of everything that you do, I'm sure you have an interesting backstory. How did you originally get started in this business?
Wow, well, if I was to trace it back as far back as I can think, I guess it started as being a kid who listened to the radio a lot and just became really enamored with music and calling radio stations and listening to countdowns, things like that. I got a unique opportunity when I was in college from a friend of a friend who introduced me to an owner of a radio station in my local hometown near the Beaumont area. And as it turned out, they were looking to hire and train some weekend staff. And I thought, well, this is a great opportunity. I've got to take this. And that turned into a 17-year career in the radio industry. And most of that ended up being in Houston at KSBJ. And then during my time at KSBJ, I had a colleague I worked with who owned a mobile DJ service in the Houston area. He several times had asked me to come work for him, and I always turned him down because at the time I had young children at home and I didn't want to give up my weekends for being a dad. But eventually I turned into my home was an empty nest, and that gave me the opportunity to give it a shot. And he brought me on board after I did my first event. I said, if you're going to pay me to have this much fun doing this, then sign me up. And I ended up working with him for several years down in Houston, and then eventually moved to the Fort Worth area and started Classic Pro DJ. And at this point, I've done over 1,200 weddings in 15 years and several hundred other type parties. And that's where I am today.
Wow. Now, you mentioned weddings quite a few times. So where does your heart for doing the weddings come from?
I just enjoy being part of the experience of knowing that this is the biggest day of their lives when you're thinking of a bride and groom, and getting to be part of making that extra special. I've also got 2 daughters of my own who've been married, so I got to be part of that on the planning side of things. So I've got good perspectives on both ends of this, both as a vendor and as a dad. But I just take a lot of satisfaction over being part of such an important day and making sure that everything is just running smoothly, that everything is great in terms of making sure that the agenda and the itinerary is executed properly. And it's a celebration. People are already there for the reason of celebrating, and to just be in the middle of all that is just really exciting for me.
Most definitely. Now, getting into your business a little bit deeper here. Jason, what is that number one myth or misconception you come across on the day-to-day?
I often speak with wedding planners and venues and potential clients who tell me, are you going to play music too loud? Or they think that I'm going to be there to be the center of attention, or that I've got this big ego that I got to fill up. And really, it's not like that at all. I mean, honestly, that kind of stereotype has been deserved, because I know there's a lot of people in the industry that kind of take that approach. But for me, it's the exact opposite. I'm there to just create a fun atmosphere and to be very customer service oriented. I'm not there to be the center of attention. If it's a wedding, the bride and groom are the stars of the show, not the DJ. So that's the approach that I always take.
Now, transitioning gears for a second, we know marketing is the heart of every business. You've already kind of told us who your target customers are. So in terms of marketing today, how do you attract them?
A lot of it is through social media. I do a lot of online advertising. I've also got a very active Instagram account. That's where I drive most of my traffic for wanting to have people get an idea of what we do and how we do it. And then just through my website marketing, that gets a lot of attention. I get a lot of hits from Google. Thankfully, it works. But mostly online marketing. And then over time, the longer that I've done this, I've gotten a lot of repeat business just through word of mouth from past customers, also from wedding venues and wedding planners and even photographers that I've worked with. I get lots of referrals and feedback back from them that creates a lot of additional work. So it's kind of collective in all of those working together.
Amazing. Now, have you ever thought about having your own podcast before?
I've thought about it a little bit, but not to the point where I'm ready to dive in.
Now, outside of work, what do you and your family like to do for fun?
Well, spending time with family is at the top of the list. I love to go out on dates with my wife. I've also got 2 kids and 2 grandkids that I like to go spend time with. I've got a 3rd grandkid on the way, so I'm excited about that. Outside of that, I'm a big sports fan. I like to read. And we also host a weekly Bible study for my church in my home. And all of those things are how I like to spend pastime.
Amazing. All the essentials to a great life, right?
Yes, ma'am. You got it.
Now, please tell our listeners one thing they should remember today about Classic Pro DJ.
We are a company that specializes in being really good MCs. We don't like to think of this as, well, we're just going to show up and play music. If you hire us, we're going to be there to be a really good MC. That's what we really strive to do. We're also very knowledgeable musical guys. I like to tell the customers that I speak to that my brain is like a musical encyclopedia. So I'm pretty well versed in just about any kind of music. We're, like I said, very customer service oriented. So we're not just there to entertain or to be part of the entertainment. We want to make every experience something that you will remember and you'll tell your friends about. We also like to think of this in terms of weddings specifically, is if you hire us, we're not going to be there to play music that we listen to. We're there to play music that you enjoy because it's your wedding, it's your event. And we like to make it something that you're going to enjoy and remember for the rest of your life.
Now, how do you ensure that you do that for the bride and groom with so many different music tastes out there?
We have a very comprehensive planning program that is in the form of a questionnaire and a music selection program. Anytime someone hires us, they have access to that. And we also consult with them as often as they need between the day that we first meet them until the day of their event. But the planning questionnaires and the phone calls really cover in great detail what we need to do to prepare on our end, and for the bride and groom to have full expectation of what's going to happen on wedding day.
Now, final question for you today, Jason. What our listeners really want to know today is, where can they go to learn more about Classic Pro DJ?
Go to classicprodj.com. You can also find us through a simple Google search. We've got an Instagram page as well. Just go to @ClassicProDJ. And then you can contact me directly through a call or a text at 817-349-8093.
Well, Jason, I really appreciate you being on the show today. We wish you and your business the best moving forward.
Thank you so much. I appreciate the time.
Thank you for listening to the Good Neighbor Podcast. To nominate your favorite local businesses to be featured on the show, go to gnpfrisco.com. That's gnpfrisco.com. Or call 469-221-9345.